More than 200,000 people visited the Beitbridge border post that crosses into Zimbabwe. That happened in the first half of September. This is the busiest land port in South Africa. Yesterday, Home Affairs Minister Siyabonga Cwele was there to assess operations. To tell us more about their readiness for this busy December period, we're joined now by Head of Border Control, Stephen van Niel. Stephen, thanks very much for your time. Incredibly busy there, those high numbers just for the first half of December. Is everything in hand?
Good morning, Michelle, and good morning to the viewers. Yes, as the Department of Home Affairs, as the lead department in the border law enforcement environment, we can confirm that all our preparations that started in September is falling into place now. We are quite ready not only for Beitbridge but for the rest of the ports of entry across our country as people are traveling back to the 6 neighboring countries.
Now, we see as part of these festive season operations that the Home Affairs Minister was talking about spot checks that will be deployed there. What would that entail, Stephen?
Well, what we have done is that we normally have our permanent staff at our ports of entry, and during this time of the year we have additional staff that we deploy, especially the Department of Home Affairs, to increase the capacity of our immigration officials, but more so also to create additional workstations for our people where they can be processed. But I think what's also important is to take into account what other departments are doing. For instance, the South African Police Services, they have also deployed additional capacity to Beitbridge in particular, and it's simply just to create order in the port of entry. We do find with a large number of people traveling in and out of the country, you do have a situation that easily lawlessness can erupt in a place like that. And it's for that reason that we do decided to plan around specific operations in the port, but also in the peripheral areas of the port.
So certainly, Stephen, it doesn't sound like these Home Affairs officials will be having any festive season. It's all hands on deck.
Absolutely. I mean, officials in ports of entry environment this time of the year can almost be classified as your other departments, like the Department of Transport, the South African Police Services, those essential services, although we have not been classified. But officials in ports of entry are not going on leave. They are in our ports of entry trying to see how we can get ease of movement through our ports of entry.
Stephen, when it comes to hotspot issues, what are the kinds of issues that your officials are being faced with at the border?
Well, Michelle, I think, we have identified a few risks that is presenting to us when we have this type of operations. And for instance, you would find that these very risks are the ones that are contributing to, in some cases, the congestion at some of our ports of entry. One, for instance, you find a number of people that are mainly illegal, illegal in the country. They then want to travel to the countries, and then they arrive at the port of entry without the necessary documents. That in itself delay then processing of other people, because we have to deal with this person now that is either overstayed or, that need to be administratively dealt with. You have issues that people come to the port with fraudulent documents. That's a further delay. You have people that are coming into our ports with fraudulent stamps. And these are all the illegal part of migration. And that is some of the factors that really, create some of our blockages at our ports.
Yeah.
Obviously, we also find that people, as they are driving up to the port, last year in December, as well as in December in both Beitbridge as well as Lebombo, we had a situation that we were actually blocked, those two ports, on the 23rd of December for about 48 hours. And the simple reason was that motorists that are not complying to traffic rules, these travelers then decided to drive into the port in all lanes, meaning nobody could come out. So the traffic management is a critical requirement of our success at our ports of entry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all the best to you and the rest of your team there. Head of Border Control, Stephen van Niel's joining us there.